Welcome to The Vinyl Guide, the podcast for record collectors and music nerds. Here's your host, the biggest record nerd of them all, Nate Goyer.
Well, hello everyone, it's Nate. Welcome to episode 547 of The Vinyl Guide, the podcast for record collectors and music nerds. And today, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sharing an interview I've wanted to make happen for many years now. Ginn of Black Flag, and of course, who runs SST Records. And Greg and I cover a lot today. I want to acknowledge up front, Greg is a controversial figure in punk rock. Many former bandmates struggle to find good things to say or even swear off talking about him altogether. And to be clear, this interview is not about that. Right up front, this is not a gossip fest. I wasn't going to ask about his personal fallouts or why he does or doesn't talk to so-and-so or disagreements with former band members. That's totally between them. They're adults. They can speak for themselves. What I wanted to find out, what's up with the SST catalog, the records, the tapes, the catalogs, unreleased recordings, reissues of some label rarities. I want to talk about the current inception of Black Flag, 3 very young band members, and what his thoughts are on the legacy of Black Flag. So we cover those topics and a lot more today, and I think you'll enjoy, and everyone I'm sure will learn quite a bit about Greg in this conversation. And again, just being up front, being in a band like Black Flag, that's a hard shift. I'm not going to judge anyone who's done it and what they all made it mean when they came out the other side. I'm also very aware of the suspicion of the latest lineup where it's Greg, 3 players in their early 20s. Sure, it's out of the ordinary, and quite frankly, here's how I see it. I came late to punk rock. I got into Dead Kennedys right as they were breaking up. I never saw any classic lineup of Black Flag. So when I get a chance to see a band with only maybe 1 or 2 original members, and they're playing the songs I love, I will generally go to that show. Hell, I recently saw Kansas where they had none of the original members in the band. So I figure sometimes you got to take what you can get. I go for the music and to hear those songs I enjoy. And that's especially magnified when you're talking international. Black Flag's classic lineups never made it to Australia or Asia, many places on Earth. So again, sometimes you got to take what you can. And if you don't want to go simply on principle or something you read, that's of course your prerogative. In recent years, I've seen Black Flag, the Mike Vallely lineup, a few times. I had a great time. The crowd did too. Greg now has some very young, fresh players in the band, and they seem to be doing really well. And those younglings will get an education, probably have some incredible stories to tell from the experience. So there you go. Black Flag is again coming to Australia May 2026. Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane, Gold Coast. Tickets and info at troubadourpresents.com. So now, let's have a chat with Mr. Greg Ginn, Black Flag, and SST Records.
Hello.
Mr. Ginn, how are you, mate?
Oh, good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I think you and I are going to have about an hour together, so do you need a drink of water or anything like that?
I'm going to get a warm-up for my coffee.
Why don't you do that?
Okay.
All right, man.
How you doing today?
Oh, doing all right. It's a little chilly. We're going into winter. Where in the world are you?
I'm in Long Beach right now. I live in Texas, though.
Okay.
And we just got finished with a little tour. We're getting ready to go to Hong Kong and then Australia.
Well, Greg, thank you so much for coming on the show. And very exciting. You're going to be coming back to Australia. This is your second tour. We caught you on your first tour a couple of years ago. That was your first time to Australia, yeah?
No, it's there's been twice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we've toured there twice, and this is the third time.
And you have a whole new lineup. I heard rumors of new recordings as well. Is that true?
They may be unsubstantiated rumors. I don't know. I just like to announce things when there's a release date. So
Okay.
Uh,
I'm just trying to substantiate them. So I guess my question is, you are thinking of new music for the future. There is something potentially coming.
I'm always thinking about music, but I can't substantiate any wild rumors, Nate.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. We'll wait till we have something to share. But that's interesting because if there were new recordings with this band, that would be first Black Flag in well over a decade. Do you think we'll hear new music in the tour of Australia?
Oh no, we've been trying to. The band is we've been together for a year now, and we play two sets. We play about almost 2 hours a night, and we're just still adding some more songs to our set. So we pretty much so far have had our hands full with that, and have been doing a lot of touring. But I'm sure we'll have a break in action at some point.
Mm-hmm. And how does it feel for you to have this new blood in the band?
Well, good, particularly because we live, the bass player, David, drummer Bryce live very close to me, so we can play all the time. And for a while, I was playing with people that were, in other states and stuff like that. And so I like it a lot better that we're we're always on it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. All right. So the close proximity means that the band can get tighter, and the group, you can get a little bit more comfortable with one another.
Oh yeah, yeah, and I think that it's worked out incredibly. I really enjoy playing with this band. Is just incredibly talented and people, and I think we enjoy playing together a lot, and it's a very positive situation.
So going back a ways, when did punk rock first come on the radar for you? What were some of those early bands or shows or things that really sparked that interest for you?
Well, um, I was living in the LA area. Um, I think it really started with things like the Stooges,
Mm-hmm.
MC5, and so I think a lot of the early punk rock bands were influenced by them as much as well as a lot of other people. So that kind of made it the possibility exciting for me rather than what was happening in the 70s is kind of like these bands with that seemed like they're not a lot of fun, not making much of lyrics that I was necessarily very interested in, and to see a movement of just bands with lyrics about different kind of stuff. And but the early bands, I pretty much got into it when it started. Some of the all the early records, starting with New York, people like Television, and of course the Ramones, and a host of other, you know, Blondie, just all those New York bands was really what got me into it first because they toured earlier, and then you had the Damned came over. I think that was the first English band to really tour, but it's just so many of those early bands. I consider myself more, my aesthetics more 70s punk rock rather than 80s, because I think it was very open in the 70s, and all kinds of misfits. Not necessarily the band,
Pardon the pun. Yeah.
but including them. I didn't mean it yet,
Yeah.
but including the band, but just people, different kind of people picking up instruments and playing. It just seemed like something that you could do serious things and not kind of like party rock and roll. And there's a place for that too. I mean, we like to have fun, but there's also, I guess, most of the songs are pretty serious, but we try to make it fun as well.
So, in terms of picking up a guitar and forming a band, was that a natural motion for you? You wanted to form a band, or did you just find compatriots at the time that had a similar mission as you?
I didn't really think that I was gonna be in a band. I just played guitar and wrote songs because I liked, just for myself, just kind of a release, a creative outlet, that kind of thing. So it's really um, the uh, finding people with a common interest to do something out of the
Mm-hmm.
ordinary at the time, very much against the grain. And so, I mean, for a band, you need to have a group and to have people that are like-minded, and certainly in the mid 70s that wasn't necessarily easy to come by. um, the Stooges weren't really popular, um, except on a very underground level. So it's like when you found somebody that, oh, you like the Stooges, wow, that's a line you got to cross.
That spoke volumes. Yeah.
Yeah, from you to go from Journey to the Stooges, so you got to cross a line, I think.
Often a police line. So you were into ham radio, I believe.
Yes.
What was your call sign?
WB6ZNM.
Okay. My dad was fully into ham radio, and
Really?
WB0VUI, but he's hasn't been on the planet for a decade or so. But we had ham equipment all over the house, and I believe
Oh,
there was some SST equipment there. So
wow.
so you were in the process. You were kind of an engineer that augmented your industriousness to also include making records. Is that kind of the journey, or am I misinterpreting it?
Yeah. I mean, I started in business when I was 12 years old. Um, s- uh, and I did that all through high school and after. Um, um, developing a line of equipment and various versions and updates. Uh, Periodically, I also published a magazine, amateur radio magazine, when I was a teenager. And so I had experience with, stuff like printing and advertising and ad design, that kind of stuff. And so, yeah, I kind of reluctantly, at first, Black Flag, the first EP was really made as a demo. And we were trying to, I didn't want to start a label, I wanted to just continue with my electronics, that I was into for a number of years, and um, happy doing, but it's kind of by default. Nobody wanted us. So
Well, that's really interesting because it sounds like you've always been, I mean, the DIY ethos has been within you. You were interested in starting your own business at 12 years old, putting together, electronic kits, then a magazine. So I guess creating a record was a natural extension. It wasn't that much of a challenge to move from where you were to making records, was it?
no, I pretty much at a young age learned how to get things done and so I feel like that I could apply to anything and various points. I've applied it to a lot of things. More recently, I had a plant nursery for about 10 years and we got burglarized a couple times. And being on tour, I haven't been able to. I've had to close it down at least until I can be around to revive it. And I developed a organic fertilizer with so it's the same kind of experimentation that I've applied to everything. I was trying to find new ways of doing things that are not common. And I think I've applied that to my fertilizer, which I want to revive my brand there when I have time.
Oh,
Um,
so we
but
see in the market SST fertilizer, or
no, it's called Known Source.
uh,
Actually,
oh, look
my
at
shirt.
very good. That's interesting how you say experimentation because musically you improvise quite a bit, so you're constantly experimenting. That seems to be a very comfortable state for you.
Yeah, I really I would not be interested in playing if it was just grinding out the same thing every night. There's just no way. So, yeah, I that's what I constantly work on when I practice. It's sometimes scales and stuff, but most of the time it's just fooling around, finding different note combinations and stuff that you don't. Why does this work? But it just does. Sometimes you have to experiment to find the unusual ways to go with music or anything else really. Um, but I get bored real easy, and yeah, I really like the improvisational aspect, but also the songs. Like when we're playing, I generally have the feeling of the songs in my mind, usually more than the lyrics, just the general feeling of the meaning of the song. I try to stay attached to that and have my playing kind of reflect that best I can. But, I'm a work in progress playing music and I keep trying. I practice a lot. I keep trying to add more stuff to what I'm doing.
Hmm. So when you created that first record, the Nervous Breakdown EP, that was you said a demo. What
Yes.
were you thinking would happen with that?
Well, um, first of all, our, before that, we had a couple bass player, and he left to move up to Oregon. And then at the time we made the Nervous Breakdown, the bass player Chuck was in a different band, and so one thing we want to do is record this and find a bass player. Then his band broke up later, so he joined us. Um, so that was part of the motivation is to find, and then we figured we're probably gonna need a drummer that's relatively sane.
Good
So,
luck.
oh, that was a low blow.
Oh, we always give drummers shit, don't we?
Yes, we do. Uh, oh, our drummer is incredible.
Um,
Bryce is,
a monster. God, he
yes,
incredible, incredible.
yes, and David just and Max. I just really like playing with those
Yeah,
guys.
yeah. No, absolutely. And look, again, you've got three very young, energetic players who, again, a lot of energy. Probably a bit different than what you've experienced. How has that been for you, having being the and you and I are very similar age, being the elderly minority?
Well, I think I've played with a lot of older musicians that are a lot less responsible than those guys, and yeah, it's strange because I didn't set out to do that. I just tried out a lot of people, and one thing I was looking for is people that were free to go anywhere at any time and had that freedom. So that as people get older and more obligations in their life, there's less people that are free to do that. But people say, "Oh, that's a great marketing move, Greg." It's like, no, it just kind of happened. Tried out a lot of people, but I'll accept that. If you want to call me a marketing genius for it, I guess I'll take it. But that's not how it happened. It just has worked out that way. And we had younger people in the band. One of the best drummers in the '80s was 16 years old in the band, Emil. Just really great drummer. So I don't, a lot of, rock history, a lot of the best rock was made by 19, 20-year olds, younger
Mm-hmm.
than our band. So I just don't accept that, like, uh,
You, you mention you get bored and you despise being bored. If I could,
yeah.
is it necessary? Because there's a lot of refreshes of the band Black Flag. So is that kind of part of the cycle? Like, after you feel you've chewed the taste out of a particular lineup, it's important to get new blood.
Well, I think a lot of it early on, I think a lot of people couldn't. I mean, when the band broke up in '86, it was seven of us living in one room. So it's not, a lot of people think, oh, your heyday. And it's like, well, kind of, I guess. So it was difficult to have, the commitment was so heavy. And I feel like it's really, to really do good music, you got to really work at it. And, uh, uh, and a lot of people aren't willing to make that much a commitment without and live that kind of a lifestyle. So I think a lot of it is been practical things, but certainly, when people say, "Well, why don't you play with so and so or this or that?" And I go, "Well, it's just not interesting. I'm not. It doesn't matter. The public wants to see a certain people on stage or something. I want to always play the best music that I can, and I think that's what I try to do, and I try to work hard at it, and find people that want to work hard and really concentrate on it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we're doing now. So I'm enjoying it. But people it's a big commitment. Uh, Unlike a lot of bands, I would think. And so, it's, I understand that.
Yeah, there's there's a huge legacy with Black Flag. I'm curious to hear your perspective of the legacy of Black Flag and how that holds up today.
Oh, I don't know. I don't really. I get most of my feedback from talking to people at our shows. At our shows, I always go around and meet people before intermission and after, and so that's that's really where I feel like our real fans, and I like to hear what they have to say, and a lot of them say it's difficult for me to talk about but anyway, a lot of them just thank me for helping them through the music I'd done, helping them through a lot of difficult aspects in their life or rough spots, and that motivates me. I feel like awkward to say that, like I'm important or something, but I'm not. It's not that, but I think it has a deep importance for a lot of people, um, or for a certain core of people that really connect with the lyrics and the music. And lyrics that I've written is primarily about real people and real situations, real feelings, if I want to use that word, I guess. So it's very, to me, based in reality,
Mm-hmm.
which is something I'm most interested. I don't read fiction. I don't see movies. Um, Even the documentaries are mostly fictional, so I don't bother with that. I like more reality, and um, to study real things, to spend my time with things like that,
I
learning all the time. But I don't. I've never played a video game, or it's very rare for me to see a movie and I might boo after it during the credits, so I can get in trouble at movies. You just wasted 2 hours of my time. And so you don't want to go to a movie with me, and I probably wouldn't go anyway.
Yeah, the reason I ask is SST and Black Flag. I mean, there's so much history in there, and it's beloved, right? A lot there's people who will judge multiple different ways, and take it with a grain of salt. But things that like one thing we haven't noticed from SST or Black Flag are reissues or extra material. Like for example, there was a lot of recording around the damaged My War era. I imagine there's still a lot of unreleased tracks or tapes out there that haven't been heard or shared yet. Is that fair?
Oh, I guess so. I tend to not, unless there's a real reason to do it. And I know there, you know, um, people, labels do it for various reasons, but I tend to not always like that. When I hear albums with extra stuff, you know, on Amazon Music or whatever, um, a lot of times stuff is thrown on there that kind of waters down the album in a way. It's like there was a reason it was left off in the first place. And yeah, you can skip around that, but um, I I just haven't been real motivated to, you know, uh, uh, stuff like that. But I'm sure there is. I guess I'm just always more interested in what I'm doing new. Um, which I always do a lot of electronic music, instrumental music, and I just like writing new songs and doing all that.
Yeah.
And so it's hard for me to go back and pick through stuff or that kind of thing. And like I say, I don't always enjoy it when extra stuff is just added to albums to do it, so people buy it again or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
But there's certainly a market out there of people who would love to hear it. And even if your involvement in it could be significant, it could be minimal, you could hand it off to some. In fact, what I'm trying to do here, Greg, is pitch you a job to be able to go through tapes and to be able to create like almost again a My War box set or damaged box set, things that also help tell the story and set the narrative for this very
oh,
important band.
I don't think there was. We put out all the songs we recorded on those albums.
Mm-hmm.
I think the first 4 years, and everything went black. I think everything went black. Has a lot of that. Earlier takes on songs that weren't released. But the later stuff is we pretty much recorded the songs and put out everything we
Yeah.
played. You know,
So the cupboard is
there could be
pretty
live.
bare. The cupboard is bare.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's. Yes, I would say so. I think it's pretty much live stuff or that kind of thing. But there, I like to have good quality live stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's listenable rather than just antique or something.
Yeah. Sometimes we got to take what we can get. Your Black Flag shows weren't exactly in Abbey Road Studios, so you got to take what you can get.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you have the master tapes, like the master and the multi tracks? Do you still have those?
Oh, I don't know. I think a lot of stuff has been stolen.
Mm.
So I don't know. I mean, in terms of remastering or remixing, I'm not really interested in remixing. Um, and remastering can always be interesting. So that could be something that's interesting, but I just haven't explored that.
Yeah.
Sometimes I've heard remastered albums that, oh wow, this is a new look at it, like the Allman Brothers East
Oh, Fillmore
classic
East.
album.
Fillmore East. Yeah.
Fillmore East. I heard I was playing in a club. This was quite a while back, and I heard it, and I was like, "Who's doing the Allman Brothers?" Because I heard these other extra guitar parts that I never heard. It was like, that is. Then I kept listening. That's them. Where did this tape come from? But and that was interesting. But sometimes I hear them and it's like, I want to hear the original instead. And you can always do that, but I haven't messed with that.
Yeah. Because like recently, Dead Kennedys remixed Fresh Fruit for Rotting Vegetables, and
Oh, really?
yeah, and it sounds like the blankets came off the speaker. There's a whole new because a lot of these bands when they mix these records, they mixed them over a weekend. It was a quick job. Now they've been able to kind of have some reflection, take their time, and it's not just
Oh, yeah.
So again, planting a seed if it's not already planted. That
Yeah, I didn't know about that. I got to listen to that.
and
Um,
and the old one's still available if you're a purist and prefer the 82 version or
right,
whatever. Yeah.
right. I'll check that out and see what I think
Yeah.
because
Do you still listen to records? Do you have a record player or record collection?
no, I know show. your
Okay.
your podcast is vinyl oriented,
Yes.
but no, I'm too all over the place. Um, I'm just real happy about the digital universe. I can take music any place. I work a lot outside on the gardening and growing experimental stuff. So I like to take it. I'm real portable with music. And even when cassettes came in, I liked that, even though the sound quality wasn't there, because I'm not really much of a homebody. I'm always someplace in a car or on the move. So I don't even have a functional record player at home, you know.
Fair enough. It is inconvenient. I'll give you that, especially in the
Yeah.
Texas sun. But one thing that was really interesting that I saw, something that gave me a lot of hope, a couple years ago, Turntable Labs did a special version of Double Nickels, and it seemed to be revisiting a record that was out of print for a very long time. So it sounds to me like these sort of reissues are something that can happen throughout the SST catalog.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you planted a seed. We'll see if it grows. Maybe I apply some of my fertilizer to it.
Yeah, there's a lot of fertilizer, a lot of that. Because one thing I'd love to see, and I don't know if this is possible, but something like revisiting some of the parts of the catalog, like Stains or
Hmm.
Overkill. Is there a universe where we could see reissues of those?
Oh, I think so. I Those are great records, and yeah, I think so.
Mm-hmm.
I
Okay.
think that's something that should happen. Um, we've had a lot of. It's better now that stuff is available digitally because distributors have just been a nightmare. Where we had about 20 distributors go bankrupt on us over the years, owing us money. And after a while, it's just like, no, I don't want to do this.
Mm-hmm.
But now with the digital thing, the companies, they don't have to hold your stock or that kind of thing, and it's a lot more predictable business, I would say. Uh, um,
Mm-hmm.
Now, in terms of that's been much better for us. Not, I mean, digital doesn't earn a lot of money, but at least you're not losing.
Yeah. But some of these I don't think
Um,
are even available on digital. Like I don't think Stains is on digital. Maybe I'm wrong, or maybe I'm just in Australia and I can't, and it's different rights. But I'm hopeful that a deal like Turntable Labs or when Superior Viaduct does reissues, we could one day see more reissues of things like Dix or Overkill or Stains.
yeah, well, those are three that are have enduring interests to a certain extent. So, and they're all great albums. So I definitely agree with that.
So with the new album, or sorry, the alleged new recordings. Um, I imagine.
I'm being very straightforward. I'm not being evasive.
I don't know, I know,
Uh,
and
uh,
I don't like to talk the energy out of things either. I
yeah.
want to see them eventuate and let that speak for it. But I'm really encouraged by this. I'm wondering if that's something that would be a 2026 thing or beyond. Any
Oh,
hints
I
or
don't know. I have a few recording project that I started previously and that I'm working on. So I'm trying to get to that point. But um, I have some think a couple things ahead of that too.
Oh, okay.
That are works in progress. That uh, I would I just record a lot, and I enjoy that more than anything. Just writing songs, coming up with stuff, and working with different people. So a lot of people, I'm known for Black Flag, but that's probably been about 5 or 10% of the songs I've written at the most, maybe probably 5%.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I do have some other stuff I'm working on.
Is is
Um,
is there an artist today you would like to collaborate with?
oh, uh, yeah, Boombox band.
A band called Boombox?
Yeah,
Okay.
much different than we do, but I would definitely. It's about my favorite band to that's playing now in the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy seeing them and their records. I like a lot. So that's one where we've talked about that. But I'd have to think about other people. I guess it's more collaborating with other musicians, not necessarily a whole band, because a lot of times bands are kind of complete in and of themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So I've enjoyed working with a lot of other musicians and playing with different people. So I enjoy that a lot, um, and I've just had the uh, honor to play with so many great musicians, Black Flag, and then otherwise um, incredible people who I find very inspiring, and I just feel fortunate to have been able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
it doesn't always produce like a band that tours a lot and um, you know uh, but I just enjoy making different music.
What do you enjoy, the writing or the touring more?
Wow, really both. um, Both.
Mm-hmm.
Like I wouldn't, I can't, they're just different.
You can't do one without
uh,
the other. One leads to the other.
well, yeah, I mean, working on music is like a good way to relax between a tour, so it kind of works together good. So I can't say I like one better than the other. It's not like I'd rather just stay home and record music or I'd rather just tour. I just like both. To me, it's very
Mm-hmm.
compatible.
Do Do you feel you still have something to say in new music?
Oh, yes. Yeah. Um, Otherwise, when I don't, then I don't do it. I record when I feel like I have something to
Mm-hmm.
offer. So that's really my criteria for wanting to do something. I don't want to just do something to repeat it and that kind of stuff. And that's not always the best thing commercially, but I just not interested in that. Um, I have enjoyed more than I would have thought is playing songs that people know. Um, that people know the lyrics and the songs, and it's a different world like that where people really have gotten into the songs. Where early on, a lot of times we'd play new stuff all the time, or just inadequate pieces that people couldn't hear, didn't learn the lyrics. Now people know those older songs, and I found that a lot more gratifying than I would have expected.
Yeah.
Because it's a different area where people really know the songs and they relate to the lyrics, and that's satisfying rather than playing and you're wondering how much they really abs- abs- absorbed from it.
It- it's funny. Earlier today, I got tickets to see The Damned at the Sydney Opera House. And when you think about how far punk has come from getting sandwiches thrown at you at Pollywog Park to now touring around the world, how do you reconcile that in your head, the distance you've traveled, the distance you've culturally traveled?
Well, I guess early on, I always thought people think, "Oh, did you think Black Flag would be popular or something?" And I thought, well, yeah, if as long as if we keep together, why I would think people would like it, you know? And um, so it's not like I don't know. I don't really. I pretty much live in the present, and
Yeah.
I don't really think about where it fits in things. I just try to think about what kind of emotion or feelings or ideas I'm putting across.
Hmm.
Um, but I don't really reflect on that kind of stuff.
But
Um,
you seem very much like a always moving forward. At some point, we're all going to move to our next plane of existence.
mhm.
What do you think? What will happen to these recordings? What will happen to these sort of assets? The SST legacy, Black Flag. What will happen when there's no more Greg Ginn?
Oh, I don't know. I just try to prepare for that. Um, and but I I don't know specific things, but try to um, maintain the existence of the recordings, um, and make sure they're available. But there's a lot of people think, well, this is legendary, or um, you know, this legacy and that kind of thing. But if you think about it, I mean, people that are 20 years old, most of them don't know who Madonna is. You go years back, or like, I was just talking to people as far as like Gene Autry was the biggest thing on radio, TV, records for decades. Now, who knows Gene Autry? Nobody, really. I mean, you do, I do, but it's there's very few people in history that really are remembered on a mass level. George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, um, Frank Sinatra.
I,
Uh,
I I see your point on this, but I would probably counter that Black Flag and SST set a template that was not only appreciated but also um, many thousands took inspiration from it, started their own labels. I would put a parallel to Black Flag and SST more to like a Robert Johnson, someone
huh.
an artist that could be celebrated as a foundation rather than just one of many.
Yeah, I think some people take it that way, and some people think of Black Flag as beginning in the '80s, and of that kind of ethos, but I look at it as I come from more 70s type of punk rock, which is almost opposite of what it became later. So a lot of people associate us with beginning hardcore or that kind of thing, and there's some truth in that, but that's not. I just think I just consider what going back to the 70s, and I guess don't really enjoy some of the bands that were very influenced by Black Flag, because it kind of can turn into a generic thing, and that's fine, but I'm just not really interested in that. So there's different aspects to that, to people's perception, and maybe stuff like this. I didn't do interviews for a long time because I'm not the most comfortable talking about myself, and I'm just as well not do that. But I feel like it's right now explaining the new band and some of the stuff is a good endeavor, and just like your questions are excellent, and provide a lot of people with a lot of perspective, whereas so I think hopefully that adds to that it wasn't just like hardcore. Is more like we were together for 5 years before that,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm not against that, but I think the 70s punk rock was a lot more varied and adventurous, and all kinds of different misfits involved with it, starting with New York and all that.
Yeah. And certainly, Greg, I hope I'm not making you uncomfortable in any way.
No, you're
That's really not the
not.
intent. Okay. Because
Not one bit.
okay, because I really agree. In the '70s, punk. You go to a show, you see Germs and X and a reggae band, and so many different little elements coming together. It became formulaic after a
Yeah,
while.
you have Blondie, Television, Mink DeVille with the soul. You had Robert Gordon. All those people fit in that.
Mm-hmm.
And you had nobody cared about race, sexual orientation, all those kind of things. It's like I feel like it was just a very open period of time
Mm-hmm.
between 75 and 80 or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's plenty of exceptions, but a lot of it got kind of formulaic, where it wasn't at all early on. Most of the bands sounded different from each other.
I tend to think like 100 years from now, who are the bands of the 20th century we'll remember? And something, Beatles will almost always be there. I think Nirvana will
Yeah.
be there. I think there's a strong argument to say Black Flag will be there, not only because of the influence and the spark, but also the visuals around it. There was a strong identity. There was empowerment, and there were a lot of imitators afterward. But I think that there's a space to be able to have that conversation of how impactful Black Flag was and is, and at some point, it's a reputation that goes beyond you, beyond something you can control, and it becomes something that is that is just out there. I think that's the whole story is yet to be told, and I'm really excited to hear where you're taking it next. But at some point, Black Flag is will belong to the people. And that's,
Yeah.
that's where its ultimate legacy will form.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. You know, I appreciate that. And I think, I feel like I'm bragging or something, but I think that there's some truth to that. Um,
And you should be proud. I mean, feel it. It's I have a difficult time taking compliments as well, but when you do good work, it's okay to be proud of it.
yeah. Yeah. I am proud of it. Definitely. But I don't want
Go on about it.
to, I don't want to go on.
You have fond memories of past band incarnations, yeah?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I think it's always pretty much always move forward. And I appreciate all the different people that have played with the band, and contributed. Um, so, oh, definitely. Um, but at the same time, I'm not big on turning back the clock because uh, there's reasons, I'm much happier thinking of it as doing the best music with the best people I can right in the present.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um,
Oh,
not
yeah.
not being a nostalgia thing. The songs people are can be nostalgic, like, oh, when I first heard Nervous Breakdown, or when I first heard you guys, it's just changed things for me, that kind of thing. A lot of people say things like that. Um, and I think the other aspect of it too is I don't think our songs are period um, songs.
Specific, yeah.
They're about things that people can relate to now, and we have a lot of younger fans, a lot of parents and their kids, what parents taking their kids and kids taking their parents. It's kind of wild like that. But I enjoy that uh, the songs can still mean the same thing for people, that they're not tied to a certain period of time, or that kind of thing.
Yeah, they don't sound dated at all. And again, there's a lot of faded black flag tattoos out there that have stood the test of time. Oh,
And people keep a lot of new ones all the time too.
that's right. You're keeping the tattoo industry in business, Greg. Um,
I, but I don't have any myself.
we'll get you one when you come down here. How's that?
There
Um,
was somebody offered for free tattoos for us, but I don't like needles in me or something.
uh, so with upcoming material, I know you've been a primary songwriter. Would Max be contributing any vocals? How? What are the potential contributions of the new band members?
Oh, well, yeah, I would think so. Um, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
they're great. They're really, really great. And to me, and a lot of people that see us agree with us. So it's not just me, but I think it's the best version of the band.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Certainly, it brings the most joy for me. Um, and so
Are there any friendships with past band members you particularly miss?
I would say miss. Oh, yeah, definitely. Um, but I have trouble staying in touch with current friends. So it's not like, oh, I wish I was, I do a lot of what I do is not very social, whether it's developing fertilizers or practicing guitar, that kind of stuff. So I feel more like I should keep in contact with more friends that, are current friends and family. I try to make um, time for family, like visited with my sister here and
Mm-hmm.
in Long Beach area, and yesterday, and I enjoy that. I trying to just keep connecting, but I find that I haven't talked to a brother or sister in a while. That I should go see them more. That kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So um, yeah, a lot of the stuff I do is just me,
Mm-hmm.
working by myself. And it's not like I always need people around or that kind of thing. So it's more like I just have trouble always connecting with friends. And here I'm in Long Beach for the week. And so I lived here for a long time. And I'm going to see some good friends. But it's, uh, it's always too long between times, So when I get out here, then that's what I try to do, connect with people and hang out.
Mm-hmm.
But I Gary Piazza that I played guitar. He played guitar with me, and incredible guitar player in the Texas Corrugators, and he lives up in Redding, California,
Oh, north.
and a mandolin player, Bobby Bancaleri, who lives in Long Beach. He's an incredible mandolin player, just one of the most incredible musicians and improvisers I've ever heard of, much less played with. Those guys I do right now, I particularly miss, and hopefully we can play together
Mm-hmm.
again. I'd like to do it this summer. I'm speaking ahead of getting it done, but those two guys in particular,
Mm-hmm.
I really miss playing with, and we did a lot together.
Mm. Okay. Well, Greg, I really appreciate you taking the time to share and be very open and trusting in this conversation. I know you do very few interviews, and I appreciate you being, selecting this as a platform to be able to share and be open.
Oh, sure. I know you have a deep knowledge of music, and you look at where it comes from, the cultural stuff, and that's more interesting to me than where did you get your band name from or something. you know, it's just the name. I don't know.
I don't like wasting the artist's time on things that people could easily look up in Wikipedia. So,
Yeah, yeah. One time, this is a long time ago, somebody interviewed me. And I said, "Well, it's like I've been asked these questions a lot of times. People already know this stuff." I said, "Well, I haven't been able to ask them, so they're just looking to do their take on where did you get your name and stuff." And I'm just like, oh, that's not providing any kind of insight to people
mhm.
that know that kind of stuff. It's so I appreciate your depth. I really do, um, and thank you
All good,
very
Greg.
much.
Well,
Great talking to you. It's like talking to somebody at one of our shows where they're really interested, and I like to talk to people about music. It's not like I don't. I do it all our shows. I talk to people every show, and I like to get their feedback. And that's feedback that's valuable because it's people that are actually interested, you know. Um,
mhm.
Not just where's so and so or this kind of thing.
Well, look, your band's been so pivotal in my life along the way, and I'm so glad that you're still doing what you do. And I look forward to you guys still coming back all the way to Australia. That's not a short trip, most people know, but again, very interested to see the next chapter in Black Flag.
Yes, me too. and, and yeah, because I don't know, but I look forward to it.
All right, Greg, you take care of yourself. Go make some fertilizer.
Right? Okay. Talk to you later on.
Cheers.
Bye.
All right, there he is, Mr. Greg Ginn, Black Flag SST Records. Doesn't do many interviews, and he picked my show to be on, so that's a bit of a head spin. Anyway, again, if you're in Australia, Black Flag, May 2026, Melbourne, Brisbane, Sydney, Gold Coast. Tickets and info at troubadourpresents.com. And that's it for this episode of The Vinyl Guide. Thank you so much for tuning in. Again, appreciate everyone who's leaving positive reviews on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Those of you who are sharing it on social media, that's a huge help. Thanks again for making that happen. And we'll be back shortly with a brand new episode. So until we talk next time, you all behave yourselves. And thanks again for listening to the Vinyl Guide podcast. Cheers.